Welcome to Clarity Currents. I'm Danielle Laura, trusted seer and spiritual advisor. Each week, I share grounded energetic transmissions and insights into the week ahead so you know how to work with the energy rather than in resistance to it and are equipped to create aligned momentum across your business, relationships, health, wealth, spirituality, and legacy. This is Clarity Currents episode for the week of July 13th through the 19th, 2026. Let's dive in. When I tune into the overall energetics of the week, I see this vision of water rising all around your feet at the start of the week, and it's there to make you notice what's underneath the surface. There's a little friction early on between where you need to feel emotionally supported and the new chapter that you've been actively building. So if tension shows up, it's an invitation to get honest about what actually nourishes you versus what you've simply gotten used to. Then a huge new beginning opens. I see a blank page being turned to crisp and untouched, and you're being asked, what intentions am I setting for emotional and relational reciprocity over the next 6 months? Where do I want to feel truly met? Where am I ready to meet someone else the same way? As the week continues, joy gets prioritized in a big way. There's a real pull towards play, creativity, and fun, even while something deeper about who you're becoming and where you belong creates a little bit of tension underneath. Midweek softens into something hopeful, even creatively inspiring. You might notice happy dreams or a sense of optimism you can't quite logically explain, but trust it anyway. There's a foggy, spacey stretch later in the week before the clarity returns. And there's this old belief or mindset that's been slowly unraveling that reaches its final release. That release can feel emotionally raw as it collides with new ways of communicating and believing that you're stepping into. So just be gentle with yourself and also be careful too, literally. Drive a little bit slower, move a little bit slower. Just be cautious on that end of things. The back half of the week becomes a massive convergence, kind of like this thread of the week's fabric, all weaving together at once. So much is happening all at the same time, and it's all connected. So something that started a while ago is moving towards a positive outcome that you may not fully see for a few months yet, but it is happening, and a whole new chapter is unfolding. Business for the week of July 13th. When I tune into the energetics of business this week, I see a scale with money and self-worth on one side and a lightning bolt of innovation on the other, and they're pulling against each other. Whatever you've mentally been focused on around your value, your worth, and your money is going through a real purge and release right now, and it's conflicting with the changes and innovations that you've been called to step into. The invitation is to let the old story about your worth fall away first before you try to force the next innovative move. You can't build the new structure from the old foundation. Early in the week, use this fresh page energy to set clear intentions for the next season of your business. Ask yourself, what do I want reciprocity to look like with my clients, my collaborations, and my audience? By the end of the week, so many pieces come together at once, so trust the convergence that you feel is productive, not chaotic, even if it does feel like a lot. Relationships for the week of July 13th. When I tune into the energetics of relationships this week, I see two hands reaching for each other and finally meeting in the middle. This is a big week for relational reciprocity, and the new moon energy early on in this week is asking you to set real intentions of where do I want to feel truly seen, heard, and met over the next 6 months, and where am I willing to show up the same way for someone else? There's a joyful, playful current running through the week too, and there's this pull towards a fun, creative connection. So prioritize that. That is the medicine. And then by Friday, some difficult but necessary conversations may surface. The things that aren't aligned in your relationships are getting louder, harder to ignore because you simply can't carry them into the next chapter with you. Let that be a relief rather than a threat. What's misaligned is being illuminated so that you can address it and move through it. Health for the week of July 13th. When I tune into the energetics of health this week, I see fog lifting off a road before the clearest, most open stretch of highway is then before you. Earlier in the week, reevaluate what actually nourishes you versus what you've been doing on autopilot, because your body already knows the difference. There's a spacey, foggy stretch a little bit later in the week, so don't fight it. It's not actually a lack of clarity. It's simply just the pause before an old belief about your body or your habits fully releases. Once that release happens, you may feel emotionally raw for a moment, but let it move through rather than suppressing it. And be a little extra gentle and present with your body, especially around anything physical, active, or anything on the road. And by the weekend, everything integrates, so trust that your body is recalibrating towards something better, even if the week felt like a lot to move through. Wealth for the week of July 13th. When I tune into the energetics of wealth this week, I see a vault door slowly cracking open after being sealed for a long time. Old beliefs and stories about money and self-worth are purging out this week, and it may feel like it's in conflict with the innovative steps that you know you're meant to take financially. Let the old story go first. Don't try to build the new financial moves on top of old fear or old lack. Clear the container before you fill it. Early in the week, set clear intentions around the reciprocity you want to feel with money, giving and receiving in equal aligned measure. By the weekend, there's a huge convergence of supportive energy, almost every thread pulling together at once. So trust that the momentum building right now is setting up outcomes that you may not fully see to fruition for the next couple of months. Spirituality for the week of July 13th. When I tune into the energetics of spirituality this week, I see a page turning in this old worn book, and then light pours out from underneath the new blank page beneath it. This is a week of releasing an outdated belief or mindset that's been unraveling for a while now. Let it go fully. It's already served its purpose. Trust your intuition, even if it doesn't make logical sense, especially midweek when a hopeful, almost dreamlike clarity starts to move through. By the weekend, I see this enormous web of light connecting point to point to point. Nearly everything in your field is taking and talking to everything else at once. So this is a very rare and potent convergence. So stay present to it. Something that began a while back, tied to healing and to your path forward, is moving towards a positive outcome that you may not fully witness for a few months yet, but it is absolutely happening. And legacy for the week of July 13th. When I tune into the energetics of legacy this week, I see someone standing at the start of a brand new chapter. Their hand is resting on a door that's just beginning to open. Early in the week, get honest with yourself about what's truly nourishing your long-term vision versus what you've outgrown. The new moon energy early in the week is asking you to set intentions for reciprocity in your legacy. You can ask, what do I want to give to the world? And what do I need to receive in order to sustain that giving? By the end of the week, an old belief that's been limiting your vision of what's possible fully releases. And by the weekend, a massive convergence of support gathers around the path you're building. A whole new chapter is unfolding, and some of what's shifting right now won't be fully visible for a few months, but it is already in motion, and you get to trust that. There you have it, Hot Soul, your intuitive forecast for the week. Wishing you a week of aligned reciprocity. That's what's moving collectively this week. If you want to know exactly how this is landing in your chart, in your design, in the specific day that you're walking into, and the exact actual moves to make, that's exactly what I built Evolve AI for. Come join us and start your 7-day free trial at fullyevolve.ai. I'll see you there. Until next week.